The following rant was inspired by an incorrect reading of the totals for the voting. However, the point still stands with what you're about to see. But a correction for what you're going to hear. You're going to constantly hear me saying that it's 32,000 against 23,000. I was wrong. I'm going to admit that. But I'm not re-recording my rant. So the actual number is 23,997 to 8,875. So 8,875 people are against what my rant is about. Hey everyone, this video I'm going to talk about PlayStation 3 fanboys and the absolute stupidity of them and some things that really irk me. And somebody sent me a link to PlayStation blog Share. I had no idea that this existed, and I think it's a very, very good idea, where a user of a PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, PSP, whatever the fuck, can submit an idea and have a community vote for or against it. There's one in particular that really gets me, and it is the software emulation for PlayStation 2 games. There are currently, as of this recording, 23,997 votes for it, and there's 32,872 against it. The question I have is, why are people against it? If it's not going to cost you anything, or if it's an option that you can pay extra for, why are you against it? I mean, if you don't want to play PS2 games on your console, that's completely up to you. But to vote against the idea solely because you don't feel that you don't feel like you're gonna play PS2 games on a PS3 is completely retarded. I mean, I don't understand that at all. It's an option. You don't have to use it. You're not forced to use it. Therefore, you shouldn't fucking vote if you're against it. I mean, what are you going to be hurt by other people getting this capability? No. So why the fuck do you vote against it? That doesn't make sense. And this is PlayStation fanboys as a whole, where they feel the need to defend Sony's actions to the death, even if it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. One that really stood out here was, if you want to play PS2 games, go buy a PlayStation 2. I don't understand why people constantly say that. We live in a generation where one device can do multiple functions. Why the fuck are you going backwards? The whole point of backwards compatibility is to reduce the clutter, reduce the number of consoles that you have to have hooked up to your television. Tell me that it's better to have a PlayStation 2 game running on a PS2 versus running on a PS3. You're out of your fucking mind. Really you are. Why the fuck do you want two things hooked up? Why do you want corded controllers, limited memory cards, when this sucker can do all of that in a grander scale? You have one console hooked up to your TV, you don't have to worry about switching shit out. You have wireless controls so you can sit on your couch that's far away from the television without the worry about a cord. You can have as many memory cards as you want on this thing. And it has the slightly better output of graphics. It's able to smooth things out. It's able to upconvert slightly. Yes, it may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it's something that people want. You know, if you don't want it, you don't vote against it. I mean, unless it's a change that would really affect you, which this wouldn't. If you're not going to play PS2 games on your PS3, you should not vote against it. It doesn't make sense. And I think people are stupid for voting against this. Obviously, you have fellow community members who want this feature and want it really badly. People who didn't have $600 to drop on this console. People who may not have been interested in the PlayStation 3 or decided to wait a few years to see what kind of games come out. But you can't tell them that they shouldn't want to play PS2 games on their console. You can't tell them that, oh, go buy a PS2 if you want to play PS2 games. I got news for you guys. I have a fucking PS2. There's no chance in hell I'm going to be able to hook up a PS2 to the screen. Why? It doesn't have component or composite inputs. It doesn't have an RF input. It only has HDMI. Last time I checked, the PlayStation 2 did not have an HDMI output. So, here's a legitimate reason why I want PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility on a PlayStation 3. For the fact that I can hook it up to this computer monitor. I have a PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility PlayStation 3. I play PS2 games on PlayStation 2 games on there on a regular basis. But I just really think that we need to get this whole mindset out and kill it once and for all. To say that if you want to play a PS2 game, go buy a PS2, that is the wrong idea. That is completely stupid, and you're going backwards. You're making it worse than it needs to be. You're saying to people, I rather have more clutter than simplicity. I'd rather have a fucking corded controller than a wireless controller. I'd rather be forced to buy $20 memory cards than for the ability to create as many as I want. I mean, look, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII on my PlayStation 3. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Why the fuck do people play PS1 games on a PS3, but then they're the same people who question why people want to play PS2 games on the PS3? Yeah, I just can't understand that. People bitch that you can't play PS1 games on the Vita natively, but everyone's very quick to say, but you put this in the PS3 and you could play it with remote play. I'm pretty sure people would rather play one generation newer than this. I mean, I would absolutely have no problem with people complaining that it's not playing PS1 games, because I'm like, look, that's 2 generations old. That's not really a necessity. However, as I said, there's a great number of people who have very huge collections of PS2 games, and they would like to play it on their PS3, and they're not wrong for thinking that way. They're not wrong for wanting it. The people who are wrong are the people who are against this, because again, it's not affecting you. If people get this feature, it's not affecting you. It's not preventing you from playing your PS3 games. It's not preventing you from playing online. Things that really need to be taken away are online passes. They need to go. The whole updating shit, it needs to be simplified. They need to make it more efficient, faster. They need to improve download speeds for the PlayStation Network. These are things that people need for the PlayStation 3. And for all those, I can't believe 32,000 people voted against it. Why? Oh, because Sony was forced to take it out because no one was using it. Or Sony was forced to take it out to lower the prices. No one gives a shit why they took it out. The whole point is people want it back. End of story. And every PlayStation 3 is more than capable of running PS2 games because Sony has proven this with PlayStation 2 digital downloads on the PlayStation Network. The only difference is one's on the disc, one's on your fucking hard drive. Other than that, it is capable. Sony has proven this. We want software emulation capabilities restored in all PlayStation 3s, and we want to be able to stick any fucking PlayStation 2 disc into our PlayStation 3 and enjoy the convenience of having unlimited memory cards, wireless controllers, the ability to have one fucking console that does it all without having to switch inputs, without having to have multiple consoles plugged into electrical outlet. As I said, this is a better way to do it. And you guys gotta stop fighting against it. You guys are wrong for doing it, and you guys need to stop. Take care and look out for future content.